In this video, I'm going to show you how I created these beautiful collages, and Jane Monteith was a huge influence, and so was Anne Osborne. This is quite different from what they do. It's just my take on it and very much more a beach themed. Please enjoy.
Hi and welcome back to my channel. I had some inspiration from Jane Monteith, who does these beautiful collages. She just cuts out random shapes and puts them down on wood and then resins. So as I'm kind of favor a beach theme, this is one that I made earlier. You can see it's on maple wood, and I have collaged Yupo paper using Piñata inks, alcohol inks, with their cleanup solution, their blending solution, and also isopropyl alcohol, 91%. And then what I do is I just prepare ahead of time tons of strips in different colors and stick them down with Liquitex matte gel medium, and then they are resined with Stone Coat's Art Coat. So what I thought I would do was do something a little bit different. I printed out photographs of pebbles, if you can see, and cut them into strips. And what I'm going to do with this one is stick down all the photos in a random collaged fashion, and in between I'm going to put sand. So it's going to be, I'm going to call it Pebble Beach. And this one I'm going to continue. I've run out of Yupo paper, so I'll have to go and get some more today, but I'm going to continue this down to about here, and then the bottom is going to be sand. So without further ado, I'm going to start sticking these down. So the Pebble Beach one, I have trimmed all the photographs and I've masked the side with washi tape. I find washi tape really is easy to get off. So now you can see that these need to be trimmed, and that's just fairly simple. You just turn this over with an X-Acto knife and trim it. And then I keep, these scraps are going to be useful for another project. Keep them in my Yupo tin of goodies. open those. I've missed a bit there. Okay, and then the other side. Those. Gorgeous day outside today. Right, and now I will mask it with washi tape. And the reason I like washi tape is because it's so thin, the resin really doesn't get underneath it, and I take it off the next. So I'm going to resin this in a minute, and then tomorrow morning I'll take the tape off, and let me show you. This had washi tape around it, and it's perfect. And that's not even quite dry yet. Still feels a little tacky. Now, and just make sure, just run your fingers around it. I also sanded these boards before I started to work on them. I don't want any splinters or anything. All right, so those two are ready, and now you will see why we need the fixative tape, the fixative spray, because this is just a print that I've printed on photographic paper. So if I put resin on that, it's just going to run, and so will the alcohol ink. So I'm going to go outside and spray these, and then I'll come back. Outside now, and it is chilly, but it is a gorgeous blue sky. Look at that sky, but look at the snow, and this is where I'm going to spray my fixative. Right, I'm going to pass my camera to my lovely husband, my George, who's going to be my assistant for the day. And like I said, mind your finger, George. Oh God, well, this can's no good. Oh, there we go. So we need to probably apply 2 coats. I am going to put 1 coat on now, and when it's dried, which really dries very, very quickly, I'll come out and put another coat on. But in the meantime, check out my slippers. Oh my goodness, it's cold. All right, that is well and truly covered. The next part is to resin. Thank you. So these are back inside, and there is an English expression called brass monkeys, and I have no idea where it started or what it actually means, other than brass is cold, and brass monkeys means bloody cold. So it's bloody cold outside today. I'm going to mix some resin, and then I'll be back. Now the resin is mixed, and again I'm using Stone Coat Art Coat, and the primer that I used was Grumbacher's matte final fixative, and 2 coats on that, and that's completely dry. It actually says it dries in minutes. I can't see where it says it, but it does dry in minutes, trust me. And the other thing, which is very important, is make sure your surfaces are completely level. I have this level here. That's good enough. Ooh, that is not level. What is going on here? Well, that's funny. It's leveled that way. I think I need to put something under that. There. And the same for this one. And there's no reason why I'm doing 2 projects at once, other than my ADD's probably come into play, but actually it's very easy to do 2 of these at once, because while one is drying, you can be working on the other one, and now they're both ready to resin at the same time. So I mixed this for 5 minutes, and I'm just going to apply a coat. Not too worried about the bottom of this because that's going to be covered in sand tomorrow. Or no, I might need a second coat of resin, probably. I like doing 2 coats. And then this one. And then this one, the sand is going to go between the pebbles. And I have a special way of mixing sand. Where's my art resin scraper? Oh no, actually I don't want to do that. I don't want to scratch the paper. Oh, maybe I will try it. If I'm really careful. There. Or I could just do it with my hands, might be even easier. Now remember, the sides have washi tape, and if you've never used washi tape, you'll find it in like the kind of art and craft section of Michael's, well, they've got mine on Amazon, and it's used for all kinds of things actually. See, this is where I'm ADD. I should just concentrate on one at a time. Anyway, I made plenty of resin, and this will sit until tomorrow morning. And what I'll do is I'll take off the washi tape and then put another coat, masking of washi tape, because if the resin gets really hard, it's kind of hard to get off, but you can sand it. Right, so it's all up to the edges. Actually, it's quite nice just with the wood. Okay, now this one. This is my beach. This one's Pebble Beach, and this is just going to be Sandy Beach. Yeah, much easier to do with my hands. And I'm not doing, once I've done this, I can just take my gloves off and use the torch to pop the bubbles. Masses of resin. I could be making coasters. Oh well. Way too much. Oh, don't move. After I spent so much time getting you straight. Right. If I have to do another coat of resin, it's going to be a very thin coat. All right, take my glove off and reach for my torch. Oh, there's a gap. Pop all the air bubbles. Quite a few air bubbles in this today, and I think it's because my resin wasn't as warm as it should have been. And another good tip is you can put your bottles of resin in a warm water bath. Make sure you don't get any water near the actual resin though, to keep the lids on, and you get less bubbles if it's warmer, and it's easier to mix. So, there you have it. I'm going to cover them up and we'll come back and do the next part tomorrow. So I have taped the sides because I don't want any sand dripping down. I have sand from Grace Bay Beach, #1 beach in the world in the Turks and Caicos Island, and I'm combining that with Elmer's glue all. And this is how it's looking right now, which is too runny. So I'm going to add a little bit more sand. Yeah, need more sand. So just a little bit. And stir that in. Because I don't want it to run off the sides. I definitely don't want it to run onto the resin. Maybe just a tad more. And mix it in smaller batches. I think I'm going to have way too much sand here for the beach because I'm not going to put a thick layer. So yeah, this is better. But wait, make sure you do it in smaller batches and get right down to the bottom so there's no loose sand. So now I'm going to start laying the sand down. Before I do that, I'm going to take some washi tape and just mask off the area. I'm going to give myself a little bit of blue, so make sure I go right up to the line. And scissors. So I go over the washi tape. I'll be able to lift that off and get a really nice sharp line. And this contrast between the smooth, gorgeous collage, shiny, beautiful resin and this textured sand, it's going to look so good. I want it to dome like the resin. So, and sometimes it's just as easy to use your hands. Use my hands now. And there you have the beach. Now the other thing, what I might consider is as it's drying, and I think I might actually take a hairdryer to this to help it dry. So let me find my hairdryer. I'm going to turn that light out, and because I want to get the sand a little textured, so without blowing it towards the resin, obviously, I'm going to put it on a low setting. So I'm now going to take the washi tape off, and I'm going to pull towards the sand. And then I'm going to just very gently with a popsicle stick. Scuff up the sand a bit. And then we will come back when it's completely dry to see the finished result. I'm going to show you the very last bit of how I'm doing the sand on this one. So I've washi taped them in between, and then I'm putting the sand on, and on this one I'm putting the sand on quite thinly. And see, if you make a mistake like that, quickly get it off with some alcohol, rubbing alcohol and a Q-tip. So the last piece, and once it's down, make sure we go up to all the edges and corners and spread it out. And because it's wet, it'll settle nicely. And I made this particular sand. I'm going to rub those bits off in a minute. I'm pulling this tape off in 3 seconds. Okay, just take some excess off. Right, and then make sure some gaps there. Take the tape off when the sand is still wet. So the 1, 2, 3, everything's sticking, 4, and last of all, that one. And then I'm just going to clean up where I messed up a bit here. There. So I'm going to let that completely dry, and then I will take the masking tape off the side and photograph it for my cover shot. Right, they are all finished. I'll take you down for a closer look. You can see the collage, and there's the sand at the bottom. I'm really happy with how these came out. And on to Pebble Beach, and you can see how fine the sand is and how straight the lines were using that washi tape. So there you have it, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit subscribe and like, and all the links are below this video. Thanks for watching.